Hello, everybody.
Ooh, I like that. I was like, I thought my voice has gone a bit strange. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, viewers, as Benny Hill used to say. Welcome to another Wednesday night with us. We've got our normal crew waiting in the wings. So we'll just bring those on so they can just say hello. That familiar face, known to, well, at least 100 people now. My good brother.
Known to 3 or 4 people.
Happy feet. Chinese, eggy top notes, any of the above aliases. And Eric.
Eric.
No, he has accrued some nicknames, but I'm just calling him Eric J for tonight. I'm going to be very, very decent and civilised.
Now, hang on. What nicknames has Eric accrued?
I'm saying it's on order of death and all that.
I think the last one that I received was Eric the Red.
Eric the Red.
After one of the wine shows, when I spoke about I only drink red wine. So
that was true. Yes, it was. That's very true.
That's not a bad nickname.
I wonder who is responsible for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one as well. Eric the Red. I think that's very fitting.
Very, very fitting. So, gentlemen, welcome again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Just very quickly, well, let's have a bit of a catch up and find out what you've been up to since the last program. I'll start with you, Eric.
Eric the Red.
Eric the Red.
let's see. Since the last week, the last Wednesday. Okay. Yeah, that was a hot time of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think, was hot in the capital. So there wasn't much going on. Saturday, we had a little get together with some of the gentlemen of the man cave, and that was Saturday. So that was a long day. Sunday was recovery day.
In hospital.
No, not quite. But then I was invited to a very enjoyable wine club show Monday night, which was terrific. And yeah, there hasn't been much going on because the weather has kind of cooled down a bit. Today was overcast, breezy. It was just, I'm waiting for the warm weather again. So, because I enjoy being outside. So yeah.
We had rain.
Yes, we had rain today.
That was surprising. It wasn't supposed to rain, but yeah, we had rain.
Yeah, we had. I poked my head out once, and there was a little drizzly, but that was about it. But yeah. So all's good in the capital.
Excellent. And Terence, what have you been
Terence.
up to?
What miscreant things have I been up to? Well, we did the wine club, didn't we? Which was very fascinating, I thought, because we chose our ultimate favourite wines, things that we feel emotionally close to. And I chose Fat Baron. There's Pete, poolside, looking gorgeous.
He's got a new nickname.
And Diane. And that was a great show. Really enjoyed that show. Really kicked off with Carl Munson, and everybody involved in the wine show. And it's kind of retrospective in a way. Kind of took on this retrospective, looking back element. And to sort of like halcyon days when we really chose, some wine that we feel very close to. And I chose Fat Baron, which was the bottle was donated by the bro there in the corner, Gary Garvo, the great Garvo. And it was, I got to say all sorts of wonderful things about Fat Baron. So I enjoyed that. And then we had a little discussion about after the show about like the dearth and kind of like the need for sort of manliness, bring back manliness in a way to probably younger people, which was really, I know it sounds a bit sort of off, but it was actually quite a good conversation. I did enjoy it, probably because I spoke a lot. And then we did the Amigos thing at the weekend. Yeah, I think that was a Saturday, was it? Yeah, Saturday, and that was beautiful. That was really, really. Amigos is like a restaurant in the Albiazra area, which is like about 20 kilometers north of Tomar. And
Tomar. Come on, straight that, mate.
Yeah.
Tomar.
Is it Tomar? And Isabella is opening up a new venture there, reinvigorating Amigos. And she's doing a sterling job. I just love everybody that we met there, all the stalls, all the kind of like, it was a kind of like a bizarre type feeling. So, yeah, I just really had a ball there, and we did a little bit of filming, which I'm hoping that we'll see some takes of. But met some great people and had a ball. We went with the wife and my daughter, Ruby, and Gary and Linda, and we just had a brilliant time. So I've had a fairly full week down in San Martino again now. So I've been moving about like shrapnel and just doing my best, really.
Your microphone has gone a bit strange for some reason.
Mine?
Yes, that's a bit better.
Yes. Do you want me to shout, dear boy?
Well, what's new? I don't know, it just went a bit flary and sort of.
Has it really?
Yeah, it did, but now it's okay.
It's me. I'm sorry.
You've just cleared the wax out of everybody's ears. Let's put it that
Yes. I'm sorry. I
I'm
apologize.
just going to put the link up there. Bit of an open door tonight. You can come and join us. Let's just picture this, right? It's a bit like a phone-in, yeah? But it's not a phone-in. If you want to join us on screen, ask a question, join in. It's there. Feel free to come and
feel secure, feel happy.
Yes.
And partake, because that's what it's all about.
That's exactly the way I would have put it, to be honest. A couple of early comments coming in here. Squire the Shows, better known to us. That's Simon, isn't it?
Boa tarde, todos.
He's watching us from deepest Nottinghamshire, if my memory serves me right. Andreo.
Olá, é boa tarde.
And I don't know Andreo. Maybe he might come and join us. So I'm going to put that up there and have a chat with us.
Why not?
And identify yourself, sir. That would be jolly good. So yes, we went to Amigos at the weekend, as the bro said. There you go. It was another hot day, a really warm one.
Really hot.
And Amigos has been shut for a long, long time now, but it used to be quite a good place to meet people. They had craft fairs and stuff, and a great place to have a pint and just generally socialise. And it's a deep joy to me that it's opened up again. And Isabella is you know, she's doing a good job. She's trying her best. So I'm trying to bring Pete in, but he keeps disappearing. I don't know why. He's having some connection troubles, maybe. So yeah, what we did a video. Strangely enough, as we normally do. But this one, I might just break it up into little bits to stop it, because it's a fairly lengthy video, because my brother likes to talk a lot. So I might have to just kind of just stop it along the way. But let's play the first bit, right? And then I'll stop it maybe along the way there somewhere. So just let me set this up for you.
Well, what's the first video, bro? I mean,
it isn't. I've just because it's quite difficult just to break it up into bits. I'll just have to stop it. Right? I know it's not very professional, but I'll just have to stop it somewhere convenient and chat about it, because in all honesty, I did some work on this today, and it like felt a bit, and there was custard coming out the back of the computer, and you know, me getting in a frenzy. So I've left it in its final version where it still works. So I'll play it, see what happens.
Okay, I'm excited.
So let's go with. Bring it up.
Okay, so how long have you been doing this?
Probably about 4 years now, but the coasters are new this year.
Yeah.
And the canvases are new this year. So it's just nice to.
So take me through some of the things that you do here. Just have a walk down the table and tell me what you do. What you're doing.
These are all painted, applied with Atkins or rice paper, and then varnished several times to make them well, weatherproof basically, or food safe, and similar with the canvases. Which
Excellent.
is something that we thoroughly enjoy doing.
Do you do this type of show a lot, or is that?
Well, this is the first time at Amiga, so obviously it's the first show, one of the first shows anyway.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So yeah, we do a few locally. Yeah.
So I'm originally from Portugal, from the coast, more towards the coast, and I was studying in Coimbra, and right after I finished my studies, the COVID pandemic came, and I just decided I couldn't be living more in the city. I felt the need to go to the countryside and to embrace my love for plants. And this love for plants has been raised by my grandmother. She was really into natural medicine and using plants as medicine and food. And I think I just picked up, not that I didn't care at the beginning when I was younger, but at some point in my life I just felt the calling to start being more connected to the nature environment.
Yes.
And to get to know the plants, and from that I started really growing this love or watering this seed that my grandmother has implanted on me.
Yes.
And now this is where I'm at. I've been doing plants and growing organic vegetables and transforming the plants into natural medicine for 4 years now.
That's great. So do you do a lot of the markets around here or anything, or
Yeah,
just special events, or?
No, I usually do the alternative markets around the area.
We hear.
Right, he was good. I like that guy. You know, they say people have I don't know how to explain this, but I've read some things about it. But they have a frequency. They have an energy.
An
Well,
aura.
that is really clever. They have a frequency. They have a vibration. There's a theory about the way people vibrate, at various frequencies from within
Yes.
themselves, an energy,
Well,
And
this
that
man
you pick
had
up
that
on-
energy. He had that balance. He had that air of contentment
He
about
was
him.
very calm.
He was.
Yeah,
He
he was very, very, very calm.
Yes,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
very. And you know,
Serene.
he came away from a different life to find something a hell of a lot simpler,
Mm.
and found it basically, and he's happy doing it. So I really enjoyed talking to him, and he does a lot of other things. He's got his own place, I think Rodrigo Valley. Might be able to get his website up if I just click it, but does all his own production, etc. Does guided walks into the forest to identify usable plants for everyday remedies.
What do you mean? Things like mushrooms and things like that?
Now,
you know,
I'm not sure about mushrooms, but plants and stuff,
Right.
local.
So what stuff you can eat or stuff you can use for medicine?
Yeah, what was he talking about making medicine? I caught that too.
Yeah, herbal medicines, natural products. He does them all, but he also just grows the plants as well and sells them. And it's a hell of a lot simpler life from where he came, but he seems to have found that level of frequency where he's happy. So I liked him a lot. I didn't manage to get the lady on the first stall with all the stuff. Don't know what her name was, but I didn't see her walking down the table.
No.
Didn't see that party trick.
But I thought that her products were quite interesting because that she's obviously got a lot of talent, and that the prices that she got on those things were very reasonable. So you buy a few things and gives people.
Well, that's true.
You see,
I noticed
it's-
that overall that a lot of the products there were quite reasonably priced, which sometimes at markets and fairs they're not. They're kind of overinflated.
Yeah. And what are like a rich vein of talent and activity of people, really diverse, really sort of interesting. And she was one of probably the most interesting because of the kind of range of imagery that she was using on different things as well. She didn't really want to be on camera, which I had to respect. So it was kind of like, going through the mangle for her. But really, she was a nice lady, and I found her very interesting. And she didn't walk down the table, no.
No, she didn't. But we managed to, get some little bit of video. And once she was speaking to the camera, she calmed down and she was happy, and she did what she needed to do. Now, shall we go to your little clip next? Your favourite guy?
Please do. Please do. I love these guys. I love these
You were
guys.
having a ball here, weren't you?
I was
really having a ball.
having the time of my life.
There we go.
At Amigos this afternoon, lovely hot day, fantastic weather. I just met a couple of my buddies here, South Africans. In fact, I know them so well, I didn't ask your name, did I? What's your name?
Angie.
I did ask your name, Angie.
Yes, Angie.
I can't get the pronuncia there.
Ange is better.
Ange.
There we
Is
go.
it Angie?
Yes,
In
Angie
English?
or
Angie.
Angeline, yes.
Yeah, but in South African it's
Ange.
Ange. All right.
Warren.
Warren, that's nice and easy. Warren, lovely to meet you. Yeah. Now, look, tell me something about the wonderful range of South African food that you have on offer here, because you've got boerewors, yeah, etc. You've got all sorts of things, and we're cooking some boerewors here. Yeah. So, take me through the process of how do you make that?
Mostly on the braai.
Now, tell people what the braai is, huh?
Yes,
Yeah, that's a South African barbecue.
That's South African barbecue,
Yes.
right?
There's it, there you got
Right. So, what goes into it?
a pork, beef, and then we got our secret spices.
Oh, everybody
then
keeps the
some
secret
fat.
spice.
Yeah,
Give me a flavour, right?
I'll actually-
You don't have to give your secret. Just give me a taste of some of the spices that's in there.
Okay, that's cumin. That's
Cumin.
Majority cumin. Not a majority.
I love
strong
cumin.
flavors.
Cumin.
salt, pepper.
But I can give you a try. If you
Yeah?
got something.
We're going to get a try. We're going to try the cheese and
Chili.
chili
This
sausage.
is a strong one.
which
We've
I'm-
got a milder version.
Which I think we're going to call wild wildebeest, yeah? Rampant wildebeest.
I think you've got the version.
Rampage.
All right, so I'll try this one. Okay. So I'm going to give you my thoughts. Give me a little. Now, just tell me about the process that you go through to create this unique product.
Okay, that's just a smoked. So, okay, that's just pork. It's pork fat. And then, like I said, 11 different spices. There's 200 grams of cheese per kilogram.
I'm getting different levels of taste here.
Yeah, give it time.
It's smooth and now it's burning. Right, it's kicking, but I like the kick. It's a tasty kick. The spices, the smell of it is gorgeous. It's like walking through a field of herbs. And the texture is really it's together but crumbly, and it's very edible. It's very tasty. And I love the kick. It's just about the right amount of kick at the end.
Some people complain. That's why
Yeah,
we made a
because
milder version.
Are they
I'll
mainly
take
girls?
the
Sorry,
No,
girls.
Angie doesn't eat that.
No?
Yeah, I eat the mild one. This one is too
Yeah?
hot. Yeah.
Oh, how did I know? But this with a beer.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm going to let you talk about that, because that's where you're at. You're in heaven with these two, weren't you? They were your
Yeah,
buddies.
but I mean, I've met a lot of South African guys out here. It's amazing the amount the South African community, because in San Martino on this very same day they were having a whole South African event, and of course they love the braai, so they've got all their own, and the braai is the barbecue. They've got all their own recipes, which they kind of change and augment as family to family. It's handed down, very closely guarded secrets, the way that they flavour meat. And you saw a little bit there of boerewors, which is like I suppose it's a sausage, basically. And also they do biltong, which is like a bit like beef jerky. It's the nearest thing you can get to it. It's dried meat. But great tastes, and really with a lot of depth and a lot of spread, and really kind of kicking, because they do crank up the spices a bit, which is lovely. I love all that kick, and they're really nice people. Those guys were really, really great. I think they have a diabetic member of the family. I think it's their daughter, and we had a bit of a chat about that as well. And she's type 1, and some of the problems, a lot of the problems that they encounter. But, they're sticking at it. They're in obviously a foreign country and having a go. And I just take my hat off to them. I bought a load of stuff from them. The boerewors, I wish I would have bought some biltong, but I gave my son some Boerewors because he's very into. He's got a lot of South African friends, and they're really sunny people. You know, they're sunny and funny, and they've got a nice joie de vivre, and they're just great to be around. And I loved that my time with them. I thought they were really smashing. Ange and Warren, Ange. Still can't get the pronunciation.
It's Ange.
Ange. She's just got such a way of saying it. I can't replicate the sense. Ange. Right?
Well, it's South African accent, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Which I love.
You ever done any South African food? And you ever tried any?
I don't even know what would be classified, to be honest with you, as South African food. So
anything that goes on a barbecue, basically.
Yeah.
Well, I've had plenty of barbecue, but like back in the States, there's Kansas City barbecue, there's North Carolina barbecue, there's Texas barbecue, and they're all different. None of them, I'm sure, is anything like South African barbecue. So,
well, no, it's a good point.
Theoretically, you should like the South African food. It's a lot of meat.
No, the sausage that you're eating looked tremendous.
Oh man, I tell you what, it was just the right side of spicy for me, and I can take a fair amount of spice and
have a nice cup of beer with that.
Oh, you've got to have the beer with it, yeah. I mean, on a hot day, what could be better? Round the braai.
So I have a question, a general question about your experience, if I can.
Certainly.
Did you find out where these people were living now, like in relation to where the little get together was there, or you didn't have time?
Yeah.
Most of them are in the ambit, the region of Amigos.
So they were close by.
Yeah, reasonably close by. Okay, but I mean, we didn't go around to everybody said, "Where do you live?" You know,
it comes up in conversation sometimes. I was just curious. So
they will do like a market circuit. If you drew, say, I don't know, an hour travel round, they're all going to be within that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They are central Portugal traders, businessmen, marketeers.
Right. And each week they go to one fest or another, and they just kind of
they do the market tours. Yeah.
I mean, those guys were really split on either going to Amigos or going down to San Martino, because in San Martino they had a rugby. In the rugby club, they had obviously a rugby tournament, had all sorts of events going on, family-based events, plus all the braais and that type of thing, the barbecues. And it's a real South African sort of feel. And I was going down there, but I kind of got like diverted to Amigos for obvious reasons. But I would have loved to have sort of covered that and shown you the kind of like the South Africans that are here, because you get Germans, you get French, some Spanish, not that many Spanish, Dutch a lot, and they've all got their own communities, and it's great to see them get together and but also involve other people. And these guys, Ange and Warren, were fabulous. They were really likable people. I love being with them. I had a great time.
Yeah, and I think that it all wraps up with the rugby thing. So we naturally sort of, as rugby supporters, come together and have a few beers and have a.
It's just a culture we share. Sorry about this, Eric. It's not American.
I think Eric should be induced into this. He should see the way, because it's the rugby thing is a great thing, because you very rarely get any trouble. It's a great atmosphere, when the games are on. And if you're a neutral, it's even better, because you can just stand back and watch what's going on. But you will find you'll have a favourite probably that you'll gravitate towards in the rugby. And I know it's a hard game to understand for a non person who understands rugby. It's no worse than American football to us, but I like American football as well.
Truth be told, once in a while I'll flip a rugby game on here just to try and figure the game out, and I haven't been able to figure it out.
It's hard work.
Similar to cricket, right? I have a bunch of friends from all over the world, and they're like, cricket, why don't you understand that? It's like one of the simplest games there is. I watch and I'm like, I I have no idea what's going on.
It's great. Few games you can play for 5 days and still draw.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great point, though. But we met the cricket guy, didn't we?
Yeah.
Who's starting up the cricket club, right?
Yeah.
Because that was going for some time. Can you believe it? Here in Portugal, we have cricket clubs because it's such a, the love of the game, you take it wherever you go. And it's international because you can get guys out in Asia like Indians and Pakistanis and Bangladeshis, all kind of like
there you go.
into that, Australians, South Africans. It's all like an international language, really, of sport. He's starting up a cricket club again. And looking for members, and I think we're going to get roped into it. My brother doesn't want to do it because I think it's his knee and his shoulder, really. But we're all carrying injuries, But I'm looking forward to it. I'll give it a go. Yeah.
And here's a date we must make together, right? Next month, July the 12th. We have Portugal, which are a marvellous side to watch. I love to watch the Portuguese play, and Ireland. I mean, that could be a bit of a test for them, shall I say?
I'm really impressed with the way the Portuguese play rugby. It's a kind of like French version of rugby, which came from the 70s, which was like free-flowing movement, move the ball as quickly as possible, and it's kind of taken away from the pack weight 6'7" guys into a more flowing sort of almost poetic version of rugby, which it takes me straight back to the days of Wales, Barry John, and all of that, Gareth Edwards, where it was like music watching.
They were artisans, weren't they? Their craft. But, that's a whole different tangent for a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
So South Africans loved them. Happy people, full of that energy, different sort of energy, but happy what they're doing, and and well into the vibe of things, which we love.
Well, they have difficulties, like I was saying, with their daughter and everything, but they're sticking at it. They're going to all these fairs. They put a smile on, they put a show on, they get people interested in the food. The food's really tasty and really good. So, if you get a chance to stop at Ange and Warren's store, pay them a little bit of respect and spend a few minutes with them and try one of the free samples. Try the biltong, which is, like I say, it's the nearest thing you can get is beef jerky, but it's a lot better than beef jerky. Really.
But they did loads of stuff on their menu, didn't they? It wasn't just that. I mean, there was.
And then they had what was it? Cook Sister, which is like a plaited bread, very sweet, very spongy. Loads of things to sample in the kind of like that you would imagine that South Africans do, but it's a great education. And they were.
Can we go back to what that beef jerky thing is you're talking about? What is that made of or with or?
Well, biltong is like, I think it's mainly beef, but it's dried beef, and they all have their spices, their secret sauces, if you want.
Right.
I think that the way they dried theirs was to use a fridge, but to circulate hot and cold air through a fridge. This process kind of dries the meat out, and the drying aspect of it is very important. But there's some incredible tastes because they flavour it with all sorts of different things, but they're very guarded about their spices. It's like Texas, when you get a rub on a barbecue, everybody's, the various spices generally. But then this mix and the weight and the balance of it, they keep it very close to the chest because obviously it's their unique signature style. But no, I would advise anybody, if you have a chance to try a little bit of biltong and you like meat, definitely worth a go. Fabulous.
Well, I think some of the people on this video, we're going to bring them on so they can be questioned.
And grilled.
Explained and grilled. I like it.
There you go. I see what you did there.
You. Yeah, that was great. And then
Yeah.
you literally next door, didn't you, to the
Next door. Was this Peter?
yeah, I think it's Peter, right? Peter the Yorkshireman. And again,
was he from? I said he was from Lancashire. I thought.
Did he? I thought it was a
I
Yorkshireman.
thought he was from Yorkshire, but he must be somewhere on the border.
Oh yeah, that's a bad mistake to make.
Oh, terrible!
I better
War
wade
of the
through
Roses, bro.
better wade through some of these comments before they stack up too much. The mystery has been revealed, and they know. Because previously by Randy, which we used to often see on Carl's program. So he's gone to Oviedo and used to do events on the Gumper map. So,
Great.
come on, the
What kind
links
of
there.
events?
Yeah, tell us about what you're up to.
Tell us about your events.
Yeah, it's the links there at the comments right at the top. I'll put it back up on the screen when I've gone through the rest of the comments. We got our special guest from Wine Club, Lee McGrady. He's
Hey!
good evening, people. He got a bit of an opinion about this vibe thing. Some people have vibe and some are dicks, so that's obviously the negative side of the vibe graph. Mark, Born Night Amigos.
I don't know really what to say about that.
Yeah, well, there you go. But he's made up for it here. Rugby better than football, so he's a
Probably.
fan.
Well, I don't know. I'm not certain.
I think I enjoy rugby more than football.
You do, but I don't know. I have a love of football. I really do.
Yes, don't forget Portugal and Ireland in Lisbon on the 12th of July, and I think we should make a special.
Now, have you got any predictions for that game?
Have I got any what? Sorry?
Predictions. That's a tough one.
Depends if the Irish play their full squad, because if they do, then it's massacre, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Because they're about 3 times the size of the Portuguese.
Because we went to watch Portugal versus England, yeah? And England fielded, their B or C team. And Portugal, actually, to give Portugal credit, they didn't field their full team, did they? But, man, they got slaughtered. They got slaughtered through lack of pack weight, basically.
Yeah. And then later on that evening, we ran into them in the pub, didn't we? The squad.
We did, yeah.
Which was quite good.
Which I objected to be honest with you, because if I was the manager, I wouldn't be allowing any of that, like celebrations in the pub thereafter. When you
where was that match played that you guys were talking about?
Leicester, the Leicester Rugby Stadium, obviously in Leicester in England.
Oh, so it wasn't down here. Okay.
No. We went abroad to see that. We followed them abroad and hoped they could get a result. But I got to be honest with you, England murdered them.
It was what, 100? Was it 100 and something, or was it?
It's 100 and something versus 15? Did they get 15?
Yeah.
They got a couple of tries. They did really well, but no, they were way off the mark.
Well, they haven't got Jean in the pack, have they? That's why.
They got Jean, the man from Porto, the battering ram, the medieval battering ram.
They need him.
If only they could have had Joao.
Portugal played that. They do. They play very fast, attractive, skillful rugby.
That's true.
And obviously, like the 90s.
Not so much. No.
So, okay, that's got the comments up to date. Let's go to your next door neighbour there on the next stall and have a chat with him, because his food was half. Well, I'm going to comment about this.
Yeah. This is Peter.
Yeah. It is Peter.
Peter, traditional English.
Yes, let's go for it.
Peter, who are you representing today?
Willow Ranch Products.
Willow Ranch Products. What are the main things you do?
It's our own home, and we basically just make pies. I cure my own bacon, I cure my own sausages, I make gammon steaks.
So how's it going generally?
It's not too bad. It's quite good. We do quite well. We do really well.
So you visit markets, local markets?
Oh well, all over really. Mainly Villanova, Poyage area. That's where
I don't know that too well. Where's that in Portugal?
Well, it's up near Lausa.
Lausa, yeah. Now I know Lausa, which is like near Coimbra.
Yes.
It's never been, but I know geographically where it is. What's it like to do business there?
It's good.
Have you found that there's much interest with Americans and
The Americans and Dutch take quite a bit to it.
that's heartwarming.
Yes.
That's lovely, isn't it? Because I'm a great believer in British cuisine and the way it's not really regarded.
We're actually even now trying getting Portuguese on our side as well.
So let's have a look at a few of the products. Let's have a look at these steak and ale par excellence. Oh, you've got a nice A on them as well.
Yes, we put the on all some people go, well, how can I tell if it's a steak and ale or steak?
I see, right. So that's
has
ale.
an E on it, that has an A on it.
Right, but look, I mean that is just poetry in terms of a pie, really. Steak and ale. So really, as an individual taste, yeah, how would you say your pies stack up? What were the qualities?
It's the quality of the meat.
Yeah.
I don't use cheap cuts of meat.
A message, especially for Americans, because I've found Americans like you ever seen them taste fish and chips?
Yes.
Now fish and chips to Americans, they don't know about it, but it's common stuff.
Yes.
But I've seen guys go, really fish? Look, this is what the Brits eat. Fish, chips, it's incredible. And I think if they came along here and they tried some of this produce, they would say the very same thing, if not better.
Care to comment on that, Eric?
Yeah, he's just talking about Americans again.
I mean, for me, that store's died and gone to heaven because
Yeah.
we bought loads from that store, didn't we?
I know fish and chips, even back home, okay? And to me, the important part of a fish and chips meal was malt vinegar. So if you didn't have malt vinegar, the meal was not complete.
You are aficionado of fish and chips.
Yeah.
Because
No, Eric, come on. Did you have the mushy peas, man?
I don't
Mushy
eat that,
peas.
no.
Oh, come on, mushy peas and some topped off with a bit of curry
yeah,
sauce.
say something.
My wife eats the mushy peas, and she's about that. But yeah, but I've had fish and chips in several states in the United States. I've also had fish and chips in Scotland. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you didn't think I had legit fish and chips prior to coming across the water, I did have it in Scotland. So, but the same rules apply. Need to have more vinegar.
Where was your best fish and chips? And you can be honest. I don't mind if it's America. Okay?
No, it definitely had to be Scotland. No, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Scotland. Hey, what did the Scots bring to fish and chips?
You mean you had a bit of wee haddock there?
A wee haddock, probably.
Yeah, it was haddock.
We had a chops.
Beautiful.
You know, when you go into a place, right, and all they make is that, they must be doing it right.
Yeah.
You know, if they've been there for years and years and years, like you go to what do you call that? A chip shop, or what do you guys call that?
A chippy.
All they have is fish and chips. What do you call that?
Yeah. Chippy.
A chippy, yeah. Okay.
A chippy.
So if there's a place that's been there, like I said, for years and years, they must be doing something right. So.
And it's the same mentality over here. You know, when you go out for a meal, I'm constantly confused when you go to like places that have got like about 30 or 40 things on the menu. Why? Look for places. Yeah, too many. Look for places. They've got about 5 things on the menu, and
right.
2 of those 5 things they do really, really well.
Yep.
And follow the Portuguese.
Yep.
They know.
No, I agree.
We had the chicken and mushroom pies.
Yeah.
Pasties. We've done some else as well.
The pasties were from somebody else. The chicken and mushroom pie was from Peter. But the pie was actually full to the top with meat.
No air in it.
No air, no sort of like jelly or anything. Just packed full of meat, and it was really lovely.
Even the mushrooms were proper, not bits of mushrooms. You could see they were proper mushrooms, and the meat was well seasoned, it was well cooked. And they had steak and ale pies. They had steak and what was the other one?
They did chicken and leek.
They also did the cornish pasties themselves and sausage rolls. I mean, there was loads of stuff in those trays we didn't see. I mean, if I had to spend, time doing we'd be here all week. But generally speaking, his produce was bang on the mark. It was, first class stuff.
I thought that the pastry was excellent, so flaky and moist.
It was very nice pie.
I'm drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
So if a good flag sort of for English British food, that one. Even though it does take a bit of a panning sometimes, the old British cuisine.
Yeah.
No, but what I found also really, really interesting was the way that he was saying that the Portuguese were big takers on this food.
Yeah.
Now, what was he was saying that went down particularly well? Chicken went down particularly well with the Portuguese, not beef apparently. But I think they used more to like chicken and pork than they are to beef. And he was saying that he gets a lot of business in that direction, which was really quite surprising. And he did a little vegetarian cheese and onion and all that, which were quite popular. But I mean, of course, when you go vegetarian, I mean, I don't know what his mix of pastries, but presumably he's using some kind of suet to get it that crumbly, which obviously is animal based. So I don't really know what the sort of vegan credentials are there. I presume not so much. But no, really. And pork and apple, I think, as well. Pork and apple sausage roll too.
I can't think I've had a better pie in Portugal. Nothing compared to that. That's the best one I've had so far.
Isn't it amazing? You can travel 2,000 miles and come here and get served all that food. You meet South Africans, you meet guy from Yorkshire, serving all this kind of British, South African food. There was also a lady selling Asian sweets as well, as I remember. Loads of people. Fascinating, really. I mean, how many people were there, would you estimate?
What she did say later in the video, I think 30 odd stalls they had.
30?
Well, I can't know why it should be a week-long video. So let's get on with the next bit. I'm going to just make this one to now, okay?
All right.
Here we go.
Should
Very nice. So, amigos, we've had a brilliant day here. I've had some fantastic fun, some great food, some great things to buy, some real sort of interesting people. Met some South Africans, people from Yorkshire, people from all over really. I think people from Holland and may even be Germany. Such an international crowd here. Great day. But the lady who brought all this together, Isabella, is standing to my right here. So I'm going to ask her a few questions. Isabella, how do you think the day's gone for you?
I think it was good. It was successful. It's been very hot, so I think that has scared people away a little bit. But in general, I had a very nice day, and it was great to, see everyone's work and to see the people that came to support.
So looking at everybody that came here today, do you have a few favourites?
Well, I'm always amazed by the woodworkers because it's something like so out of my realm of, imagination, how you can look at a piece of wood and turn it into something. So I always find that great. I mean, the anyone with plants, with the seedlings, because I'm not much of a gardener. I try my best, but a lot of stuff dies under my watch. So
I know the feeling. Tell me something about the kind of range and quality of food here.
Well, we had a stand that had pies and bacon buddies. The classic, I think, market fare, which seemed very popular. We had some South Africans who do boerewors rolls, which are fantastic. If you haven't had them,
very spicy.
They can be, yes, they can be, but they do great sausages. Quite a few pies and sausage rolls and quiche and those kinds of things. But all, just because a few people have the same thing, they're not the same, because everyone's got their own little thing, and it's hard to pick a favorite because they're all fantastic, if you ask me. So.
In conclusion,
yes,
I've had a lovely day. I've had a fantastic time, and I would advise anybody, genuinely, in the area, even outside the area, to come and visit Amigos, because I think what you're trying to do is very laudable, right? And we'll be back again to report and also to sample what you do, because it's a lovely introduction. I've had such fun with a load of people.
Yeah.
What's happening for the future now with Amigos and yourself?
Yeah, we've got a couple of workshops. We've got a medicinal herb workshop coming up. So we're trying to keep ourselves busy. And we've got an afternoon tea with Begadas and Begodas, a fundraising event coming up in June as well. So
it's all happening.
It's all happening at Amigos.
Okay, so finally, stick it there, buddy. Okay, God bless for the future.
Thank you very much.
I hope it all works out for you. What a marvellous effort you're making.
Thank you.
Guys, visit Amigos.
Thank you very much.
She didn't pay me anything either.
Gary, you're muted. Gary, you're muted.
Yeah, that was so many buttons to press here. That was Isabel, the lady who organised it. Did great work there, and she will be doing more of these throughout the year. I think she's kind of aiming for one a month, and plus other events as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I really did. I thought the fire eater though and the dancing elephants was probably a bit too much, but
we didn't get video
next
of that
time.
though.
next time. No, but I think everybody that went there enjoyed it and was well fed. What we didn't see was that herself inside. She has like a little bar, and they were doing meals in there as well. And they were doing tacos, 2 tacos and a beer for about 5, or was it?
Yeah.
So and they were beautiful tacos, full of different flavors and stuff. So even herself, was a contributor to the whole picture, and really enjoyed it. So big thumbs up from me, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
I would have to give her full marks for getting the amount of people together that she did in a short space of time, because she really hasn't been open for that long, right? From what I remember. So I think she pulled together what appeared to be a great event in a short space of time. So
yeah, well, remembering the old Amigos as it was, they never had that many stalls.
No.
And in fact, I think she could have got more. She could have filled it more, but she ran out of space. So we'll just have to see what happens next time. But I think the heat might have been a bit too much for some people, because it was very warm, very warm. So I enjoyed it. And a thoroughly nice lady as well. And somebody with a bit of youth and a bit of vigor, which is kind of unusual in these parts. Best of luck to her, and hope she's watching.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's important, that she is youthful. She's young. Because there's a lot of old crusties out here, counting myself as well.
What are you looking at me for?
It's nice to see a young face, doing something a bit positive and opening up a venture. Not only for the strange-Irish, the foreigner community, but also for Portuguese people to come along and sample as well. It's kind of spreading the culture. I never really know fundamentally where she's from. I can't make up my mind whether it's New Zealand or South Africa.
I think South Africa. There is South African.
Yeah. But there you go.
But they've also been to Canada.
Yeah.
So they actually came from Canada, but they are originally from South Africa.
Thank you. I don't know where I got New Zealand from. I just imagined it probably, but such a gregarious guy.
I'm just going to try something here. It may not work, but I'll give it a go. Share screen, because here we go. This will work. Right, this is the plant guy you saw on there. Eduardo, right? And he's got a little place not too far away. Does all this sort of stuff. It's all done organically, pesticide free. And in answer to your sort of question, Eric, he does tinctures and herbal medicines and non-chemical stuff, really.
Yeah.
But he also does he works
He's
with
got his schedule up there if you want to just roll down. It looks like he had, right there.
Yeah, he does these markets, which are kind of around here. We'll be in a sort of a 45-minute radius.
Yeah, Pedrogo Grand.
Pinella, which is up north,
Tomar, and
Espinal, which is just north of us, really.
Yeah, both great places.
Yeah, thoroughly nice guy, really interesting. And he does the guided forest walks as well, where he tells you about what you could possibly pick, what you could use in your cooking, maybe as herbal remedies. A fascinating guy to sort of converse with. So I might even try and get this guy on just to tell us about what he's up to and what he does. So yeah, I can go with that. So so loved it, and we'll be going to the next one without a shadow of a doubt. Lord willing.
When is the next one? It's monthly.
Probably about at the end.
It's the end of the last weekend of the month.
Yeah.
That's the day of the month.
It will pay and
next one will be quite hot.
Yeah.
Just
it was quite hot. But no, I thought it was, and it helps the community in a way. It's a good event to go to, so it's something you can block in on your calendar and meet mates and friends and stuff and see a few new people, which I think is all contributory to the culture and the community.
But when they used to have it, when it was open before, it was always well attended. So it is an event that people do like to go to. And I think because if it's like once a month, it's sort of like you can manage once a month rather than once a week. And then people sort of like, they meet up with friends that they, that have coffee and with their friends. So it's good.
And what was the beer like? The beer? You had the beer. What was that like?
What was it? Bitburger? Was it Bitburger? I can't remember whether it's a Belgian.
Bitburger's a German. So
is it German?
There was no local brewer there. That would really be a kick.
Well, there will be. She later on, she was telling me that they're going to have one of these craft markets, but they're going to have craft beer available as well.
Yeah.
So I may be a bit thin on the ground there because you're talking about real ale, aren't you? Which I'm not great. Just tastes like a load of nettles to me.
There will be other beer.
A nice pilsner, something light, not too heavy. That's what I want.
I mean, you can always have the normal stuff, your super pack or your Bagrish.
The Bitburger was lovely. I adored that. It was a great. Just something about a nice light beer, on a hot day. You can't replace it. It's just hits that spot every time for me. But if it's real ale, it's just me. I'm not a great lover of real ale. It does move you in certain ways, but nothing I could repeat on screen or would never want to.
Does it move you as much as the beast of Exmoor did with me?
Not as much, man. I got to tell people, right? I got to without going into too much detail. Eric, when we went to Leicester, because the first thing we did was hit the old Greg's pie shop. We're all very traditional, and then old Gaz there, he's a bit of a real ale aficionado, and I'm not. I just can't get into it. Every time he gives me a pint of real ale, he goes, sample that. And it's just like tasting a kind of like boiled nettles to me. It just
come on.
Yeah, it is. I'm lacking in that respect. I just don't have the facility for it. But what did you have? Something called Monster something.
No, it's Exmoor Beast.
Exmoor Beast. Yeah, Exmoor Beast. He had, and he was telling, that's a great pint. This, bro, have some of that. And I tried it. I thought, nah, this is nettles again, Mark II, right? And he's got great. And I'll tell you what, when we got back to to our room, I regretted him having this brew because I can't tell you what was coming out of that toilet, but it was not. It was not of this earth. I'm telling you, it was not of this. And you know what he did? He blamed it on a pasty. He blamed it on a steak slice.
It was that bag of crisps it was off.
But oh, the cheese and onion crisp. Oh man.
Anyway, Bob likes mushy peas.
Yeah, I noticed that. Good man.
And he agrees about the malt vinegar, as do we all. Looks like Simon enjoys a good steak and ale pie, which is great. Actually, steak and ale pie with a nice pint of ale. That's good.
Yeah. Dartmoor Monster.
Here's a recommendation from Bob also. Great fish and chips by the Edinburgh train station. So next time you're in Edinburgh.
But I've been told Edinburgh really isn't Scotland, so you're just somewhere else. So.
Yeah. It isn't really.
Amigos, Bob, is the name of the place. Amigos.
Yeah, Amigos.
Just down the road from where I am. And they're like super little chat, tried to join, but wouldn't recognise my mic and camera. We'll get it sorted for next time. Have a great rest of the week. Well, yes, and you, Andy. So we're up to date with the comments. And my oh no, we haven't got one coming now. What's that? You put some grain in today to soak. We're going to have a go at making some malt this week. Make your own
vinegar
malt.
or beer.
Yeah, what for, Simon? For beer or for vinegar? I'm not quite sure what's happening there.
I'd like to make some beer, but I wouldn't like making that real ale stuff. I mean, something lagerish, pilsnerish would be.
Well, don't you remember when our sister made some lager?
Well, you say this, right? But some greedy people drank the whole lot before I even got a taste of it.
Well, no, that is not true. Most of it exploded in the airing cupboard.
Well, whatever was left over, I never got a sniff of.
Well, no, I found one. Must have been 2 years later. The last of the
one is.
And it was beautiful. It really was lovely.
I'm sure it was.
But there you go. Right. Have we got anything else to say, Amigos?
Amigos, I think she's doing a splendid job with experimenting with the menu. She's got some great ideas. And I think she's going to hone in on some specialities sooner or later, which is fine. I think you've got to give people enough kind of like test the market and see what goes down well. But I hope she kind of settles on some real sort of signature dishes that you become notorious and famous for. And that's what brings people in. Personally, I get the experience with a lot of expats, etc. They're always very supportive, and that's very nice. But really, realistically, when you're getting people to pay good money, right, for good food, you've got to make certain that it's the right thing that they want to buy. Yeah. Now, finding that right thing that they want to buy, I mean, obviously Americans will go one way, Germans will go another, Brits, Portuguese, it's a question of balancing up the market and seeing what works for that market out there. And that's a fascinating process, I believe, because we're out in the sticks a little bit. We're not in Lisbon. We don't have a kind of more of an international footfall. So it'll be, where does she take it? I mean, the process that she's going through now, and I can see the cogs turning when you ask her and saying, well, what's the menu going to be like? And it's a little bit like suck it and see, no pun intended. But I think she'll get there. I've got a lot of faith in this girl because I think she's a good experimenter and she's open to ideas and she's going to get there. So we need to support it.
Yep, and we need to do this like in our own different regions as well. I mean, Eric, in your neighbourhood, you've got a cafe, your favourite cafe you go to now, your local, as you call it. It's probably not flash, it's probably not, par excellence, but it fits the mould for you and you're happy there, you're comfortable.
It's perfect. That's our go-to. And, we don't go anywhere else. I was going to say we don't go anywhere else except when they're closed. They're never closed.
Yeah.
It's like all the Portuguese holidays, while a bunch of the other shops are closed, they're open. Sundays, they're open. They're only closed like Christmas and, the holidays like that. But, like I've said before, it's four, and I haven't drilled down to exactly how they're related, but I believe they're four related gentlemen that none of them is younger than 55. So, and you can walk in there and they're always there from morning till close. And, there's never anybody else working the counter that is not one of those four guys. So, to me, that means a lot. You know what I mean? It's, I give them credit for their dedication, their, what I'm saying, their stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
If that's a word. But it's just like, that's what they do. So.
And do they recognize you now? And,
Oh, yeah. We come in, they're like, so.
Right.
And they know, and they know type of coffee I like, and they know what my wife generally wants. They know what I want to eat. They know what she wants to eat. And it's just like, go sit down, we bring, and, goes from there.
But
so.
That's the great thing about Portugal, really. I mean, you can find, in Britain, you always had the cherished local, but really wasn't a local because quite often you weren't that known in there. But I think really being estrangeiros, foreigners, you are known in your local and they do take care of you and they do make an effort to see that you're okay. And, because in a way, you stand out a little bit from the rest of the crowd. So that's lovely when that happens. And I think that's one of the really gem things for people to kind of get hold of when you move here from, a metropolis where it's a bit faceless. It's a lot more friendly. It's a lot more approachable. And you do get a buzz out of it. I mean, have you kind of like had that experience yourself, Eric?
Yeah. And I mentioned before to other people, it's like, they don't speak English, except for maybe 2 or 3 words. You know what I mean? And so, when we first went in there, we sort of had to navigate our way around. And clearly, my wife's Portuguese is getting much better. And, now they can have sort of like a little interaction, we'll say. But it's like, as soon as we walk through the door, it's just like they all step back and like, bon dia, bon dia. Go sit down. You want this, that? Yep. Okay, cool.
It's got to be the best. Yeah, it's got to be the best. It's got to be one of the most heartwarming things about a place.
It's terrific. So
yeah, I mean, for me, I really feel like you've arrived. When you get that kind of reaction, that kind of acceptance, and to be part of a community, part of a something. It really is different because you can. I don't know whether America's the same, but in Britain, you can struggle you can go to a place for years and nobody really bats an eyelid, it's whatever. But here, there's a lot more warmth towards people.
And generally, all we're having is a little bit of breakfast and coffee. Generally, that's when we go in there. So it's not like we're spending a lot of money. You know what I mean? But that's not their level of how they view people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You come in for coffee and breakfast, we appreciate you just as much as people who come in for lunch or afternoon, whatever. And, So.
I bet they probably like the fact that you keep going back to them.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
And I actually pass by this place when I go to one of the supermarkets. And I always make it my business to walk past the doorway. I kind of poke my head in and just wave, and I keep going. You know what I mean? So that's what I do.
Yeah, it's just nice. It's just a nice thing to do. And I mean, I think it's a lovely thing being American, coming to Portugal. It's the same thing with me and, being British. I always feel like there's an element where you actually represent your country abroad and, try and be friendly, try and be an ambassador, because and take care about how you treat people and do the respect thing, because that's important, because other people pass this way, other Americans, other British, and try not to make a bad atmosphere in that respect.
Right. Yeah. Agreed.
Yep. Always.
We agree. You and me.
You and me usually agree. So.
Why again, we've crossed the hour. Again, just
again
there.
the
But
Rubicon.
before we go, I'm going to ambush you on something, kid.
Me?
Yes.
Yes. But I don't like the sound of this.
Okay, off the cuff. Now, a while ago, you used to do classes in art, didn't you? You used to conduct art classes
Yes,
in the coastal region down there. And did you enjoy doing that?
I did actually. I didn't think I would because having worked as being a professional artist, I've sold a lot of paintings all over the world, really, from Portugal. I kind of got forced into doing this, not forced, but persuaded into doing some art classes. And I thought, it's going to get people coming up. Well, I do a lot of watercolor. And I thought, oh no, I just can't. I just can't. But when I actually got into it, and because I'm quite keen on it, really, and I do know a fair amount of techniques and things, working with people and seeing where they wanted to get to, and their kind of like their passion and their honesty in trying to produce something something honorable, in their lives was really, really refreshing. And I kind of got hooked. And yes.
What sort of levels were these people at? Was it beginners, or was it just people who got some level of training or talent, or was it everybody?
There was a range of people, but your typical what they call avatar was people that have dabbled, they've done a few courses before, and they were looking for something a bit sort of more in depth to kind of get them on the way, to get them to the next level, because they would find that they'd kind of reached a bit of a little cul-de-sac in their approach. And I use all sorts of different things like photography, video, slides, mosaics, collage, anything that's going to get them going in their mental process towards where they want to be. And sometimes they don't even realize where they want to be, but I could tell, and I can help them get there reasonably quickly because I've learned quite a few shortcuts, and I do like that process of like finding out about people and tell me about yourself, because they'd come through the door and I could see what they were dressed in and how they conducted themselves, and sit down and have a chat about like what you want to do. But really, people tell you such a lot about themselves before they even open their mouth. And I enjoyed that process immensely of kind of trying to like translate fairly disparate wishes into something a bit more pointed in a direction and get them going and where they wanted to. And I enjoyed the motivation, motivating people.
Yeah. Sorry, you can say something.
I was just going to say that I did get together with a lady who used to do acrylic art workshops, but she stopped doing it now for personal reasons. And I really enjoyed the times when we experimented with the way you put the paint onto the paper. So instead of using a brush, you used everything else but a brush. And I found those kind of things very, very interesting.
They're kind of liberating.
Yeah, it is. It is quite liberating. And to actually produce something that looked like it was a vase of flowers. And it did look like a vase of flowers. And you think, how did I produce that from using, these bits and pieces of things? Yeah.
Well, how did that feel for you when you like came across these techniques and these ways of doing and seeing? What did that feel like?
It was good. It was liberating. It's really, really enjoyable. Sort of like very refreshing, and it's sort of you could lose yourself in the art. So that for me was quite relaxing. So
did you find it was like a cleansing experience? When you say you lose yourself, because I often think that life we concentrate on conversations, we concentrate concentrate on problems and issues. But when you get art and to get like that pure concentration, what did that feel like?
It's quite nice to have that concentration because I find it rests my mind. You know, sort of like, I'm not thinking about anything but what I'm doing. So that is sort of like really a truly restful experience.
Yeah. Well, I think that's lovely. The validity of that is exceptional, but also you get people that want to take it onto the next stage, and they want to, you know, sell paintings, and they want to do a kind of bit of more of a commercial activity too. So it's about knowing the person that you're dealing with and tailoring the information to that person to help them the most, which I think really people would tell me they didn't get that out of other courses because you know you get like 20 people in an art class all doing this painting a bunch of apples. It's not like that now, but I'm kind of like aping the thing, but that's roughly about what it was. And personally, I don't mind if people came to me with like a picture of Gandhi or a picture of a wonderful landscape. They tell me about themselves, and then it's a matter of getting them there to where they want to be. And sometimes they don't even know where they want to be, but seeing that and saying, look, you could do this, you could do that, you could do that. Okay, I'll work with you here. And I'm a devil for actually getting into their paintings and getting the brushes out. So you want to do a bit of this, slap that on, get that paint. Yeah, and there you go. And off you go. And thankfully it's worked.
I know you did a few little videos, a few shorts showing how you created some of your paintings and the techniques you did. But my point is, you know, could you be tempted back out to do this sort of thing again? Could we put you back out on the street and recreate this either as a venue maybe around here or an online sort of thing?
I don't know. Let's say watch this space. I'm thinking about it. Okay.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot there, but I just thought.
No, it's a good question.
It's easy for me. It's easy. I live here. I see your paintings. I see how you do stuff, and I know from what you've said there, it's not just about the painting. It's about getting people to come and share things with you.
It's about the person.
Yeah, it's more than the painting. And I know that people that you had the classes with used to enjoy it, and maybe throw a glass of wine in there just to lubricate the cogs, so to speak. I know, and Linda misses the painting thing. Yeah. I know she does. She loves doing it. And there are other people in our area that miss it also. And there must be also people out there that would think, I could do with a bit of that, So if you think about that, maybe these good people here can.
Perhaps we could do an online demo, and sort of Terence's top tips for painting.
So, like you say, watch this space because I'm going to try and encourage him to get back to his roots.
Yeah. The thing is about an online thing, John, is what I got from the classes was the actual social part of it. Being mixing with other people, chatting to them, admiring their work, sort of like comparing notes and that kind of thing. You don't get that from an online thing.
Yeah. I take what you say. It's a wonderful thing that you give support to each other. You never introduce this kind of judgmental, well, that's no good or that's good. Everything is valid. Everything has a validity, and you should respect people trying to get somewhere, and give them respect for producing something that not everybody would love, but there's a certain market, a certain type of person that would really fall in love with what they produce, and it's getting them to find that market. Don't want to be too sort of nuts and bolts about it, but at the end of the day, I do find that very fascinating, and helping people kind of develop in that way, in a kind of practical way, but also in a kind of like artistic, not spiritual way, but to get their values right, they get their critique right, to get their perceptions moving.
See, I think it was interesting. Sorry, Gary.
No,
interesting that Gary brought up a glass of wine, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the States, it became very popular, okay, where there were like events where it was mostly ladies would get together for a wine and painting night.
Mm-hmm.
So a group of people,
Yeah.
not necessarily even knowing each other, right? They gathered at an event where there was wine and painting, and seemingly it must have been pretty successful. And that may be like sort of a breakthrough for some people, just to have a glass of wine while they're even speaking to you about what their interests are when it comes to painting and stuff like that. It kind of breaks the ice, I guess, for people that
Yeah.
are not, in that realm. So,
and also it kind of builds their language of understanding art, so they have a little bit of wine, they do a little bit of painting. It sounds a bit a sort of surface thing, but it isn't. It opens up avenues for people to, one, get more sensitive about art, two, to understand what they like and what they don't like, and three, to develop a language of being able to talk to people about ideas and the history of art and all the kind of formal qualities of how to understand a painting or a work of art, light, tone, chiaroscuro, which is light and shade, texture, all these things that you don't think about that goes into an image. Because we're not very visual people, really. We're not. I think with the Americans and the British and probably the Germans, we're quite literary people. We're used to words and language, not images, which is another way of communicating altogether.
Right, gentlemen, I've just noticed the time. We've well busted this time, 1:21. Just a couple of other comments to catch up with. Simon, we're making it from wheat, as we have loads of it. We're going for 3/4 kilogram of grain, malt mash to a gallon of water. So he's making beer.
It's for a beer project.
It is for the beer. Yeah. I saw Paul, had a bit of a chat with him, and it was lovely to see you, Paul, again. Thank you for your kind comments, and hope to see you again and share a coffee or a beer along the way. So anything else you need to say, gentlemen, before we wrap it up? Other than thank you very much for you guys coming along again and showing your stalwart support.
I'll just mention one thing, I guess, on the way out, is that there seem to be a lot of festivals that are related to the saints in Portugal this month. I'll be attending one in actually Vila de Can, which is way up north as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, so I'm sure there's a bunch of that kind of thing going on all around. So,
So don't forget, Eric, photos, video. I know you're good lady there. It's pretty handy with a camera. So
just about all the people that are in the audience that are watching this show is maybe they could bring their experiences for those things.
That's what we want. I can't keep banging this stuff out all the time. It could take a lot of time. Yeah. I'd like to see your stuff. I want to learn something as well. I want to see stuff from other parts of the country.
You got it.
And there's a lot of it coming up. Things are getting very busy now.
Yeah.
Just a footnote here. I will not be here next week, as I'm in the UK. So it's going to fall on somebody's shoulders. He said, looking to the right, to pump the next program on and put some sort of content in it. But hopefully, Eric will join us again and support you because
of course.
Fantastic! It can be the Terence and Eric show.
If I can, if I can get in there somehow to help you out, I'll find a way. But it's not. I can't.
Good man.
So, guys, thank you once again. A nice conversation. And to coin a phrase, what he says here, watch this space because I think I might have started something here. So, keep those brushes moist. Okay, guys, I shall leave you all in good stead.
Okay, nice seeing you.
Cheers. See you next week.
Okay, guys.
Bye, everybody.
As they say in my neck of the woods, ta-ra a bit.